welcome to SVG-TV's news for Friday, August 8, 2025. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. A supplementary budget totaling $98,585 million was approved by Parliament in the early hours of today, Friday, August 8, 2025, despite the lack of support from the opposition. The funds will be allocated to several major national initiatives, including the completion of the new Kingston Port, road rehabilitation, rental payments for touristic accommodations, and construction of homes for persons affected by Hurricane Beryl last year. In wrapping up the debate on the bill, Minister of Finance Kimberly Gonsalves emphasized that the government remains committed to advancing development across the country, regardless of the opposition stance.
And in 2023, we spent all the money we had budgeted. And in 2024, we spent all the money we had budgeted. And in 2025, we spent all the money we had budgeted. And we want more because we're going good and we want to make sure the roads in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are well done. We don't down arms, which is what the opposition wants us to do. They want from January of this year, we mustn't do no work. So they could walk around and campaign and say the government now do no work. And we must sit down, as the honorable member said, tie our hands behind our back and watch them tell us we're not doing anything. But as the Prime Minister said, we are elected to serve for 5 years. The Parliament has not been dissolved. The election has not been called. And even when called, we will walk to the last minute in service of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we're not going to be ashamed of that. We're not going to be ashamed that we walk in, because Labour is working for you and Labour is working for all.
Parliament also approved an increase in government's borrowing limit by $50 million. As part of the supplementary estimates, the measure tabled by the Finance Minister is intended to support additional spending outlined in the budget.
There is a provision in the supplementary appropriation bill of $41 million and change from local loans for housing, and an additional $3 million in local loans for the accommodation of displaced persons, for a total of over $44 million. Borrowing that $44 million without this amendment would have us run afoul of the Public Sector Investment Loan Act that we began the year with. So we have to give ourselves a little headroom, a little additional headroom to borrow, since we're trying to do in excess of $44 million here. We've decided that the prudent thing to do would be to amend the previous authorization we had, which was for borrowings of $150 million, and round it up to borrowings of $200 million, which is essentially the addition of the $44 million and change that we just appropriated.
Minister of Urban Development, Energy, Seaports, Grenadines Affairs and Local Governments, Benava Brown, reported that construction work on the new Kingston Port is progressing steadily, with the project still on track for completion by October. Minister Brown voiced her full support for the additional funding allocated to the port, but clarified that the newly approved funds are not related to the declutching issue that previously delayed progress.
As it relates to the progress on the remedial works of the quay-wall, Madam Speaker, we have spoken several times about the declutching. I don't want to get into all the details, but I just want to say that the welding is over 60% completed, the concrete placement is ongoing, and I received the good news today that they're already mobilizing for the recompaction, because I don't know if you are aware, Madam Speaker, but today some excavation work was done to the quay wall side to get a better look of the picture, to get a better look of the problem, the declutching issue. So we're now at the point now where we are putting back that soil and we're recompacting to finish the project.
The government maintains that the port project remains a high priority and is crucial to modernizing the country's infrastructure. Leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, has stated firmly that the opposition will not support any additional funding for the construction of the modern Kingston cargo port, citing a lack of transparency from the government. Speaking during the parliamentary debate on the supplementary estimate of $25.6 million for the port's completion, Dr. Friday said the opposition continues to be kept in the dark about the progress and management of the multi-million-dollar project.
The thing is this, Madam Speaker, we have now to take the minister's word for it, that he needs $25.6 million to complete the project, which now is down, put off to completion date is in October. We have to take his word for it. Well, Madam Speaker, the way in which they have proceeded with this project, as if our role in the opposition is just simply to approve the loan and then to applaud them at the scale of the project and the rate at which they are proceeding, fastest thing ever. That is our role, that we have to stand up and applaud. My job is to hold you accountable. The people of this country expect me and the members on the opposition side to do that. But you're not making it easy for us.
Dr. Friday expressed his desire for the opposition to be briefed by independent experts so they can make informed judgments based on facts and technical clarity.
It requires, Madam Speaker, for us as an opposition to be able to visit the project and to be given the opportunity as responsible members of Parliament to be able to form our own conclusion based on what people are telling us with respect to the project, not what you come in the Parliament here and try to tell us. Yeah, you have it again in the Kingstown constituencies of the members of Parliament here, and they have never been given the courtesy of an invitation to say, let's go and have a tour of the project. So until that happens, Madam Speaker, I cannot, in all good conscience, give money to this government to say, go and spend it how you like, and then come back and tell us what's happening. We need to see for ourselves what is going on. And we can arrange that tomorrow. Arrange a visit. I have tried to do it through third sources. It ain't happening. So arrange a visit for the opposition to visit the port and to speak to the people who are responsible for the work that's going on. We can do that tomorrow.
The opposition leader also used the parliamentary session to question Minister of Finance Camilla Gonsalves about the continued involvement of Valensky Douglas, the local project manager and engineer. Dr. Friday noted that Douglas's expertise is critical to the success of such a major national investment. However, he understands he might be leaving the project before its completion date. Dr. Friday told the Parliament that while they understand how significant the port project is for a small country like ours, it is why they want to see it done right and what an NDP government would ensure that the project is completed properly and efficiently. In reference to the $28.2 million allocation for the ongoing National Roads Rehabilitation Program, Dr. Friday criticized the government's performance over the last 2 decades. While the government boasts of completing various roads, many across the country, he said, remains in a state of despair. He also addressed the $41.75 million request for a post-Hurricane Beryl housing recovery program, reminding the Parliament that the opposition supported the initial supplementary estimates in July 2024, shortly after the storm struck. Dr. Friday said while they recognize that additional funding may be necessary given the widespread devastation caused by Hurricane Beryl, the concern isn't with how much money is allocated, it is with how that money is being spent.
Going to assist the persons, for example, in the Southern Grenadines, where they have been terribly affected, and still the tarpaulin don't rip off of some of the roof. And some people are here in temporary accommodations, and they want to go back to the homes. Those should be priority. But they have not been given that priority. We've had tremendous assistance from private donors, and thank them, thank God for that, because without that, the situation would have been a lot more desperate for the people in the Southern Grenadines. The question is, Madam Speaker, how are those people going to be assisted, given the fact that we have had over the course of time the whole year that has passed, that the government has not met the needs of some of the most urgently affected persons, or persons who are in the most urgent need. And you could pretend and talk about transparency and you're fixing on the basis of need. I know for a fact that persons are being prioritized based on their political affiliation. Don't go down that road. I know that. Don't go down that road. You're talking, don't go down that road. Listen, my friend, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. If you are not playing politics with this, why you move the chief radiographer from the Ministry of Health and sent her to the housing department to be in charge of the distribution of windows and doors and lumber and galvanized in Kanawan Union and Mairo? If that is not politics, what is it?
Dr. Friday emphasized the need for a greater transparency and accountability in the execution of all national projects, particularly when they involve large sums of public funds. Well, Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Sajila McDowell, taking up a temporary judicial appointment in Dominica, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves announced in Parliament this morning that an acting DPP will soon be appointed. Dr. Gonsalves stated that the individual selected to act as DPP will come from the private sector, and arrangements are currently being made to facilitate the 6-month appointment.
The Honorable Attorney General has advised me that he is tendering the requisite advice to the Chief Justice, who is chairperson of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission of the OECS Supreme Court, to have someone appointed as an experienced lawyer from the private sector in St. Vincent and Grenadines for a period from the 1st of September to the end of December as the Director of Public Prosecutions acting. I know there have been some questions in the public domain among some persons.
The Prime Minister also noted that it remains uncertain whether McDowell's temporary judicial role in Dominica will become permanent after 6 months. Should she choose not to return to her post in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, steps will be taken to officially fill the DPP position.
Everyone that the DPP's office would be well resourced for the period of time when there's the acting DPP and beyond. I just wanted to give that information. I think it's very, very important to allay any concerns about this important office in the judicial system. I want to just add, Madam Speaker, that I urge all persons who have been speaking those who have been speaking in a very uninformed way about one or two persons who have decided to resign from the DPP, the office of the DPP. Sorry, not the office of the DPP. At the DPP's office, that is to say, persons down the line. A couple have done so, and I would just urge that persons be circumspect and don't speculate on this or that. And I see all the speculation, and no one has asked the Attorney General, and no one has asked the Minister of Legal Affairs.
Dr. Gonsalves added that productive discussions have already been held with officials at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions on how best to move forward during this transitional period. As the Unity Labour Party, the ULP prepares for the upcoming general election expected to be held later this year, work has already begun on the party's election manifesto. This was revealed by Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves as he celebrated his 79th birthday today. Dr. Gonsalves, who is also expected to undergo candidacy selection tomorrow for the North Central Woodward constituency, confirmed that the first draft of the ULP's manifesto is currently being developed.
The Labour Warriors, I just want to tell you, right now, I am checking over the first draft of the manifesto. Just want to tell you that.
We should invite them to you about the party tomorrow.
Ah, yes, Candyman. Well, tomorrow, at 6 o'clock in Connery, in the schoolyard. And I want to thank the ministry for allowing us to use the schoolyard. We're putting up some tents. Tomorrow is 2 phases. First, I will be endorsed yet again as the party's candidate for North Central Windward. And after that, that may take about an hour or so. Then we're going to have a red lime stroke rally. We'll have entertainers, some speeches. Connery is my home village. I want to thank the people of North Central Windward for reposing confidence in me in successive elections from 1994 onwards.
The manifesto will outline the party's key policies and priorities as it seeks another term in office. Welcome back to the evening news. A total of 84 students who sat the 2025 Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment CPEA have been awarded scholarships and bursaries from the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, the RSVGPF, in partnership with the Ex-Police Association and the Police Cooperative Credit Union, the PCCU. This marks the 67th consecutive year that the RSVG Police Force has provided scholarships to support the educational journey of young Vincentians. The scholarship package includes a transportation stipend as well as book allowances and other school-related expenses and is valid for 5 years, covering the student's entire secondary education. Superintendent Hesron Ballantyne of the RSVG Police Force described the initiative as a long-term investment in the nation's future.
These scholarships and bursaries are not just handouts, they are hand-ups. They say to our young people, we see your potential and we are willing to help you rise. For years now, since 1958, 67 years ago, this program has opened doors for students whose dreams might have been paused by financial stress. It has reminded parents that they are not alone in the fight to give their children better. And it has proven that law enforcement and community development are not separate missions. They are connected deeply and unavoidable. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force continues to show that policing is not just about arrests and regulations. It's about creating safe communities, nurturing our talent, and ensuring that our young people are equipped not only to stay out of trouble, but to lead, to innovate, and to thrive.
In addition to the RSVG Police Force's scholarships, the Police Cooperative Credit Union awarded 1 scholarship this year. Brenton Smith, the president of the PCCU, underscored the importance of education in nation building and urged students to seize the opportunity.
By investing in education of our youth, we are not just empowering them, but also paving the way for a future, for a brighter future for our community and our nation. As we present these scholarships and bursaries, let us remember that we are not just providing financial assistance, we are investing in dreams, aspirations, and potentials of our young minds. Each scholarship represents a step forward, a future filled with endless possibilities. I encourage all our students to embrace this opportunity with open hearts and minds. Strive for excellence, remain dedicated, and never lose sight of your goals.
The Ex-Police Association also contributed to the effort, providing 3 bursaries to deserving students. President Leroy Brewster challenged recipients to aim high in their academic pursuits.
We recognize the importance of a good education for our nation's children in shaping their lives, as they will become the cornerstone and pillars on which our nation is built in the future. So we decided to award bursaries yearly to 3 children who are selected and approved by our members to assist them in their inaugural journey to secondary school. This year's recipients will be Khalid Caesar, Darencia McDonald, and Amy Alexis Providence. We also recognize and truly appreciate the role that the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force and the Police Cooperative Credit Union are playing in the development of our children.
The ceremony featured Ishanta McMaster Cummins as the keynote speaker, a former scholarship recipient herself. Cummins emphasized the transformative power of education.
No one knows where they want to go, but guess what? They're making a decision to what they're going to do. Empowerment is not just giving you power to do something. Your sponsors are giving you power to go ahead and do with your education. But it is not just giving you the power, but it's the decision that you are going to make to take this power and do something with it. Take this power and become that nail tech, that judge, that pilot, that engineer, that carpenter, that plumber. Take that power. I want you to decide to be empowered. Getting to this point, like we said, it was rough. It was stressful. How many of us went to classes over and over again? They're telling you the same thing until you forget. You got to the exam and you're like, I'm sure I learned this, but I can't remember because you're so stressed. But guess what? We're here.
The annual scholarship program reflects the ongoing commitment of the RSVG Police Force and its partners to uplift communities through education and to empower the youth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to reach their full potential. School children, as the summer vacation winds down, psychologist Dr. Joseph Miller has offered valuable advice to parents and teachers on how to prepare for the return to school. She shared her insights during her weekly program on NBC Radio yesterday. Dr. Miller noted that the beginning of the new school year often brings a mix of hope and hesitation. The students, parents, and educators anticipate both new opportunities and challenges.
This is definitely the month that we want to be preparing ourselves to get back to the classroom. When we think of the school year, we have to look at it from the standpoint that it's a blend of hopefulness. It's also a blend of hesitation. There are persons that are going to be going into schools, children going in for the very first time. There are children going into new classes. There are going to be some that may be repeating. Either way, there is going to be the expectation of new challenges, unfamiliarity in terms of teachers. And it's important that we set the pace, we set the right environment for the children to feel, a sense of peace and relaxation to help with the process of learning. When children are very anxious and stressed and scared, it's sometimes difficult for them to take in information because of all of the other emotions that are running wild within them.
Dr. Miller emphasized the importance of building confidence, trust, and reigniting the joy of learning in the classroom. Drawing from our own experience as a school counselor, Dr. Miller shared that many students express fear of their teachers, which negatively impacts their academic performance.
And it's important that the relationship, the environment is set so that the children feel a sense of safety and security, that they can speak with their teachers and get the necessary help. Right. So one of the things I want to encourage teachers to do when you're going back into the classroom, or even if you're a new teacher going into the classroom for the first time, the environment, the emotional environment is critical. When you go in, you have to take that time to get to know your students, get to know them, understand them, set the tone for safety and inclusion from day one, which means that you want them to understand that their voice matters, that regardless to what, you care enough that you want to listen. Understand that when children come into your classroom, they're not just coming to learn, but they're coming as well with their own challenges or whatever is going on at home. A lot of children are coming from homes that they are not very peaceful. They may not have the basic amenities. So they are already coming stressed on some level, which means when they come to school, they expect then that I'm going to find a space where I'm going to be embraced, I'm going to feel loved, I'm going to feel safe. And it's important for teachers to realize that that is a critical part of your role.
Dr. Miller also highlighted the critical role that parents and guardians play in the process. She stressed the importance of providing support without pressure, noting that many children return to school feeling anxious or overwhelmed.
Parents, you have to be a part of the whole.
With school hurry up open.
You are a part of the whole process, and you have to support your children without pressure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of children are scared, literally scared of even the thought of exams. And there are some schools, because the competition is so extreme, that even if a child scores 90, they're scared even to take that home to their parents because everybody else got 97, 98, 99,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we have to get to the point where we let children understand, whilst the average is important and it's good, it's not all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of children are cramming, pressing themselves to pass an exam and to pass well, but it does not mean that they know the information. Right. So you want knowledge to be such that the children understand what they're being taught. Mm-hmm. Okay? Even if a child, maybe your child is now going to be repeating a class, do not start on the negative. Do not start by cursing that child and roughing the child up and say, well, it could go waste time again, and da. Let them understand that even though you are repeating, it is now recalibration. It is like when you have that GPS and you go down a wrong road.
Dr. Miller's comments serve as a timely reminder for educators and families to prioritize emotional well-being as students head back to the classroom.